Hi there, these comments are for Ben Chen, and I am Michael, the founder owner and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFl IBT. And I'm going to listen to your independent speaking practice test number 1. Describe a place you visited as a child. What is your favorite memory while visiting this place?
When I was a child, I often went to the playground in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Because there were a lot of playground equipment there. For example, there are slides, swings, a seesaw, and a sandbox.
I like that. Very specific vocabulary. That's a good strategy. You're naming specific things.
My favorite memory there.
Now, was there any grass there? Were there any trees? Probably do a little bit more description. You're almost there.
Is playing with other children in that neighborhood.
But what did you play? What's your favorite memory? When you're on the seesaw or when you're playing in the sandbox?
We often played hide and seek by using the play structure there. Also, we built some castles in the sandbox.
Okay, now what I would do is, instead of talking about the hide and seek, the castles, and a few other things, just focus on the one thing. So you might say, my favorite memory at the playground is when we built sandcastles together, when we built sandcastles together, and just focus on developing that a little bit more, and I think that would be pretty specific.
We had a lot of fun and we laughed a lot there.
Okay, I think on this one, I think overall, you had a fairly clear organization. So if I give you a score on this thing, I think that your topic development was pretty good. My suggestion is, I like how you named the sandbox, the seesaw, and so on, but give a little bit more description. Maybe talking about the trees or the grass or the... You remember the blue sky, or it was a nice warm day in the summertime. Try to describe a little bit more. Then when you get to the favorite memory, I would focus on either playing on the seesaw or building sandcastles in the sandbox. I wouldn't talk about both of those ideas. That way you have more specific examples in there. I think from a excuse me. From a delivery standpoint, overall, I can understand what you're saying, but you need to work on your intonation a little bit more. So you can go to pronunciation lessons 36 through 40 to get some general tips on that. Your score here, I'm going to put you at about 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30 on this practice test. Hi there, these comments are for Heartpreet17, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFl IBT. I'm going to listen to your independent speaking practice test number 54.
Medical surgical was a subject.
Okay, let me go back and make sure I remember what this question is. Okay, so which subject do you like to study the most at school? Describe it and explain why you like studying this subject. Okay.
Medical surgical was a subject that I liked the most to study in my nursing school.
Okay, medical what? Now let's go back to what you just said here.
Medical surgical was a subject that I liked the most to study in my nursing school.
So you're saying medical surgical. It seems like you need to use a noun, medical surgery. You sure that's the right form? But you know what the name of the subject is. But to me, it's a little unusual to say medical, which is an adjective, and then surgical, maybe another adjective. I might say medical surgery, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
Cool. Medical surgical was an interesting subject with two parts. The first part was a theory part in which it includes all...
You want to say the theory part, not theory part. So remember, when you're pronouncing the TH sound, Harpreet, you want to put your tongue between your teeth. This is called an interdental consonant. You can learn more about this vowel, this consonant sound, by going to pronunciation lesson number, I think it's 24.
The diseases and their treatments, teachings to the parents, to the patient and their family. On the other hand, it had a practical part in which I had to demonstrate the procedures in front of the teachers in a clinical...
I would probably describe it, when you're describing it, just say it has a practical part, because you're explaining what the subject is about. So if I describe biology, I might say, well, biology is a study of living things. I wouldn't say was the study of living things.
Setting. Moreover, medical surgical helped me a lot in my treating my patients, so it was my favorite subject. For example, I had a patient with diabetes in my unit, and he had a problem in his diet. So I told him his diet menu by searching from that book.
Okay, so that helps answer that second part of the question, right? So overall here, I think you had maybe some language use issues, some delivery issues. I'm going to put you at about 2.6 out of 4, 20 points out of 30 on this practice test. Hi there, these comments are for Meg the Almeida, and I am Michael, the founder owner and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFl IBT. And I'm going to listen to your independent speaking practice test. So I think this one has to do with cell phones. Do you think it's a good idea to give children cell phones? Okay, so let me go ahead and listen. I wanted to go ahead and put, you actually typed out your response here to help me a little bit because you're having some trouble with your pronunciation. I want to give you the best possible feedback to help you with your delivery here. Okay, so let's see what you have to say.
I strongly believe that kids should not own cell phones because they gain too much liberty to speak with everyone at any time. And in case it's a smartphone, it becomes even worse once they can browse on the internet, inappropriate websites without supervision of adults.
Okay, good. So this right here is your introduction. The only problem is it's 21 seconds. So you got to do better than that. You got to get this introduction down between 5 and 10 seconds. Then you move to your first support point, which means that they can speak with everyone at any time. That's your first support point. Your second support point is they can browse the internet for inappropriate websites. You have those two ideas, right? So how do you do that? So what if you said this? What if you said, well, because they can talk to pretty much anyone and gain access to inappropriate websites, children should not be given cell phones. So think about it like that. How long did that take? That's not 21 seconds, right? That's what you have to kind of do. You need to be a little more concise in how you set up your ideas.
For example?
Instead of saying, for example, I have a friend, no, say, first of all, if children have cell phones, they will be able to speak to too many people. That's your first point. Then you give the example you have here.
I have a friend who's 10 years old boy. Every day after school stays over the phone chatting with friends, playing games,
I wouldn't say playing games or joking. I would just say chatting with friends or chatting with too many people. That's it. Focus on just that one example. Don't bring too many different examples up.
Joking on social media. For me, it sounds completely waste of time while they could use this time with educational stuff.
Okay, so I think here you didn't even go to the next support point was the inappropriate websites. That's your second supporting point. So if you can't get to that second point, then just focus on one idea, so you might say, well, because children have access to inappropriate websites, they should not be given cell phones. If you want to make that argument, then the rest of your response discusses how these inappropriate websites will be too easily accessible to these students. Whatever. So I think on this one, I mean, you have the delivery issues, but I'm going to focus a lot right now on just topic development. So I think that you need a better organization. Perhaps right now, instead of talking about 2 support points, you might focus on just one. That might be the better strategy for you right now. And then make sure you take maybe 15 or 20 seconds to develop that one idea. Remember also, your challenge right now is to shorten your introduction to about 10 seconds instead of 21 seconds, and then that gives you more time to focus on the support and detail information. Your score here, I'm going to put you at about 2.0 out of 4, 15 points out of 30 on this practice test. Hi there, these comments are for Kemp, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFl IBT. I'm going to listen to your independent speaking practice test number 2. So let's take a look at what this practice test is. So choose an event that has meaning for you. Explain how it has changed you.
There has been many events or important events in my life, but one of the most important event that I think has been...
Now you say that word, that I think. You got to make sure those are interdental consonants. You need to put your tongue between your teeth to produce that think, those 2 sounds. Go to pronunciation lesson number 24 if you want to practice more with the TH sound of American English.
For myself is when I graduated from my high school.
Okay, now you're 15 seconds and you're kind of moving past the introduction, so you're taking a little bit too long, I think, to set up the response. So your challenge here is to try to include maybe 5 to 10 seconds for the introduction, and then that's going to give you more time to develop the body of your response.
This is because after graduating from high school, I had to make decision about my...
Okay, I had to make. No, you need to pronounce that T with more air. I had to make. I had to make.
Career, and I had to make...
Again, you're not pronouncing that T sound correctly. Also, the U, the vowel oo. I had to.
Choose my major for the college. And secondly, that after graduating from the high school, I realized that I have to be more responsible towards my decision, and that have...
I would say I realized that I had to be, not have to be.
Changed me in a way that now I am very responsible person.
Okay, I think you probably need to speed up what you're saying. You need to become a little more fluent. That means that you're not totally comfortable, I think, with the vowel and consonant sounds of American English, and it's kind of slowing down your response. So you're not able to get enough ideas in there because you're speaking too slowly, because you're thinking too much about how to produce those sounds. So I think those are some delivery issues. I think maybe some topic development issues also, because you're not able to give enough specific details for your ideas. I'm going to put you here at about 2.3 out of 4, 18 points out of 30 on this practice test.